Hi everyone, Angus Campbell here, Friday the 9th of August, and we're going to plough on with the clutch and primary case shenanigans. The half link, as I call it, or the single link, has arrived, so we can sort out the starter chain and shorten that by a link to make it 49. And also we've got some washers now that we can use to grind down, so we can sort out the spacing for the main washer and the shaft nut for the clutch, so that we don't compress the clutch basket when we tighten up the clutch nut against the hub. So we're going to do a bit of experimenting on that side today. So I thought about giving this a bit of a break, but we're going to plough on with this because we need to get the this side done, and as long as we keep receiving the parts so we can actually try and progress it, then we will, and hopefully we'll make a bit more progress than we did in the last video. So first things first, I'm going to take off the chain here just by removing the sprocket off its splines from the starter there, by removing the replacement split link that we put in. We'll break that chain again at the point where we broke it last time to shorten it, and we'll insert this single link, and I'll show you what I'm doing when I do that. And once we've done that, then we'll move on to grinding this down to act as an inner sort of spacer washer for the hub. Right, let's get cracking. Okay, so that's everything off that side again, and what we've got here then is the starter chain and what I call a half link, and that's because the chain we've got at the moment is 50 links, and we need to take this down to 49, and the way we do that is with this half link. So we'll be taking out a pin effectively from there to there and replacing it with this stepped link, which gives us almost like a, a female to female to go with a male to male. So we'll be effectively taking just one link out, and that should do it. So let me crack on with that, and I'll bring you back when once that's done. Okay, so that's what I've taken out, and that's what we're going to replace it with. And so because this is, sometimes they call it a kinked link, if you like. Because it's kinked here, then we can use effectively the sort of two female ends, and we'll join that up, and that'll be one link less. Okay, there we are, fitted, 49 links. A lot better, but actually it still slightly fouls the stator mounting stud, but that is correct. Obviously, when the starter turns, it will in effect be tensioning this side. So when this is actually turning, it's not going to be rubbing on that stud, but when it's slack, it will be. But having said that, the amount of time that chain will turn or revolve is going to be minimal compared to the other components in there, like the primary chain, etc. So there we are, that's right. And I can't take another link out of that. There's not that much slack in it. There's no tensioner. If we took another link out of that, it'd be too tight. You'd never be able to fit it. It'd be far too tight. So there we are. Bit of an odd design, but that's it. Check the parts book, it's correct. These studs are correct in the right position. So we'll leave it at that, and then we'll now focus our attention on the mounting of the clutch and clutch center, where we're going to need a bit of a spacer behind the main nut and washer. So let me just ground this spacer, this washer down a bit, and I'll show you what you mean, and we'll do a bit of revision on the last video. Bring you back shortly. Okay, spacer washer made. So the intention was we use a 5/8 washer, grind it down so that the outside diameter is just less than this center spline, and in that way then that acts as a spacer so that the main washer that sits on top of this, if I can find it, there it is, the spare nut. This main washer that sits behind the nut actually presses on the outer spline on the clutch hub here rather than the inner spline, which is this one here. And that's so we don't press this clutch center onto the clutch basket and trap the clutch basket. That's the whole purpose of it. So we'll now do a test fit and put the whole lot together. Okay, clutch hub right in the middle there, center and basket or chain wheel together. And just to remind you, what we've got that we can't really figure out is the fact that between the clutch hub and the clutch center, the inner and outer splines, we've got a step there. And if we just use the standard washer and screw the clutch onto the main shaft there, then this standard washer presses on the clutch center spline on the outside there and not the hub spline, and therefore compresses the basket behind and actually tightens up on it so the basket won't turn. So this washer that we've just made up to size acts as a spacer, get it in there, in the center, so that we also exert the same force on the clutch hub inner spline as we do on the center outer spline. And in that way then this, when we tighten up, this clutch basket should turn. So we'll do a test fit now and see if that's the case. Okay everyone, success. So that hub is tight on the main shaft. It's not turning on the spline. I haven't got the Woodruff key in, but you can see it's tight and the shaft is turning, but the clutch basket turns quite freely and there's absolutely no slop on that at all. So I'm very pleased with that. That's worked out a treat. So that's a step forward there. Chain's done, that's a step forward there. So now on this side all that remains is we're just waiting for a new primary chain, 72 links, to arrive. That's on its way, should be here in the next few days. And then of course we'll have to take the clutch back off and this end off as well, so we can get the chain onto the clutch basket and the engine sprocket and put them on together. Because the chain will be too tight and there's not enough room anyway to thread it onto to this sprocket, so we need to take those back off again. But anyway, pleased with that. At last we've made a bit of significant progress, and in the meantime, if there's a day or two yet before we receive that chain, we'll turn our attention to the other side of the engine and the gearbox outer cover. So we'll leave it there for now. Progress at last, and we will get this primary case finished off in the next few days, very soon. Thanks very much for watching everybody. See you again soon. Cheers. Bye bye.